6. Yeah, so welcome. Today we're, oh my gosh, a full room. Luckily you all have there's just a few seats available. You all have a seat. Great. See, 25th event. It's a lot. We've been around now for 3 years or even more. I've stopped counting. Maybe 4 years. Muratan, any idea? Is it 4 years? You're not listening to me, I know. Yeah, so today we have two very special guests and we should go forward because our agenda is packed. When we get sponsors to pay some money for this, we make them a promise that you're gonna be X times on somewhere on the screen. So, big thanks to general partner Arvato Systems. And today we have an event general sponsor, DatiGroup, joining us. Thank you them. Without them, this event would be impossible. And obviously, these premises, the Workland, thanks to Workland. So when you see these logos, then you start clapping like crazy. Agreed? So, no, not the logo. So for part 1, we'll have Gints Klavins somewhere ready already, warming up to give us some interesting information about what's going on in EU. Real geeky stuff. I hope he's not get too geeky. Then we'll have a lightning talk by Aleksandra Čudova. She's somewhere here, humbly hiding, kinda, but in a front row. Then we'll have a break. Maybe the break will be a little bit sooner, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. Then we'll have the part 2. Guntis has joined the premises right here, again, front row. Great. Who will talk about AI agents, again, a little bit geeky. I have seen him in other presentations. I couldn't follow, honestly. So let's see what happens today. Part 3. He will tell about himself. They both, yeah. Part 3, I will explain you later. Let's see how many of you are To me, it's a really sensitive topic. Like 2 years ago, we were like, who can go to your home company and ask for 200 euros? And everyone was like, oh, we did it last time. So now it's different times. We have proper budget. We can do a proper event. There should be enough pizzas this time for everyone. I see that you've been on a previous event. Okay. Yeah. And of course, Workland. Then who are we? Who are getting this stuff done? They keep putting me on the top, but I want to think of myself as being kind of at the back. Well, not today. Just stepping in someone's shoes. Then we have Marcis, who is running late today. He's going to show up any second. Hello. Then we have Nadezhda, who is making this event happen today. I'm just helping out, kind of stepping in. Where is she? She's at the front desk still. She's not gonna enjoy this event. That's the reality of sitting at the front desk. Then we have Edgars, who is on a sick leave, hopefully watching us, because that's what people do on a sick leave. Then we have Vilmar's kind of in a similar situation. Then we have Muratan right there. Because it's been from the day one, kind of. Yeah. Then we have Heta running around with a camera there in the corner. And we have Indika, who has ghosted us a little. Hopefully he will come back. That's what happens in teams like this. Then a quick exercise to you. First of all, kind of think who's next to you. And you need to think in a way that no one else is targeting that person, you know. So right now you're like, yeah, find a pair. And I'll give you a minute where slow down. So your task is to tell the other person what's your name and what you do. Then tell one positive thing you have kind of observed about the person, and finally just try to recall what was the name because we know how it goes. You have 1 minute for that. Please go ahead. Yeah. You are too chatty. Thank you. Not doing this ever again. Not following any rules. Stop talking. Thank you. Great. Perfect. Perfect. My the business partner earlier today said that I'm kind of crazy and irritating and whatnot. So this is what you get. So yeah. And then who are the organizers? A few people are hiding. As you saw on the previous slide, there were like 7, 8, 9 people. So some organizations are kind of hiding. These ones are happy. The organizers are from these companies. Do you want to applause? Okay, then you are the community. You know your goals, right? Which are, we're here to socialize and do some networking. We all together grow the community. It's a bigger group every time. We are here to share knowledge by speakers, by each other. And it's all about happier DevOps specialists and better AI practitioners, because DevOps is better than AI. Joking, of course. The impact, yes, great. You know where to find us. Somehow you got here, but we remind that, for example, it's not there. We have Instagram with like 7 followers, probably more now. But yeah, we do have Instagram. This is not on the slide. Then if you are dreaming about getting on the stage one day, you see it's easy. I'm like a fish in a bowl, or what's the name? I don't know. So it's super easy. This stage is super friendly. If you want to get on the stage, then go to devops.lv, find a chapter for speakers or something like that, and you will find where's the form for potential speakers. And then we will help you to get ready if you want to. So yeah. And for sponsors, if you are from a company who is looking for ways how to kind of put your name out there, like Carvato and DatiGroup is showing an amazing example to everyone else, then contact Uldis KK.DevOpsLV and I'll tell you all about it. There's 3 different packages, enough of information so far. So we get to the first big part. And then, wait, that's song 1. Gints, you of course can get ready. So those who were here last time, I tried to generate some music with AI and it didn't really work out. It was a bit chaotic. It was not a good plan. Today I have a good plan. So I asked Gints for his favorite song. And this is what we got from AI. So Andres shouldn't worry about the copyright like it happened the last time. Someone just climbed in through the window because the door is closed, I assume, which is... It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Sit there. Okay, all right. And while the song is playing, I'll put up the slides. You can get ready. I hope it works. This is Gints taste. Ah, yes, yes, cornflour. Yes. You can use this. Okay. Thingy. Okay, you ready?
I kind of am, yes.
Great. I hope you love the song.
Yes, I enjoyed
Follow
it very
me on
much.
Sumo. I have 0 followers. Okay, Gints.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and to those all hardworking development and operational people, good afternoon to you as well. So my name is Gints. I'm the systems architect at DatiGroup, and I will tell you about, well, you will know it just in a minute. So because I will do it in a very professional manner. Of course, after throwing at you this big punchline, I will most time of my presentation talk about something completely different indeed. Anyway, let's get started. So this is basically the plan for today. The future of digital models. We will maybe shorten a little bit, but let me maybe introduce the whole idea. So what we are doing, we are creating the so-called digital twins DevOps platform, and I will explain you in a couple of minutes what it actually means. And as it is about the digital twins, there are also some slides on digital models and digital twins, but I will go very quickly through them. So you are not too bored with all of that stuff. And I promised Uldis that this will not be too geeky. Anyway, well, then let's go on. So first of all, the IPCEI. The IPCEI is stands for Important Projects of Common European Interest. And the reason why on this slide is basically this Airbus aircraft is that in the 70s, there was already an IPCEI project. And at that time, the Europe had the problem that there was only American manufacturers of jets like Boeing, Lockheed, McDonnell Douglas, and the likes. So all of them over the course of the time have become Boeing. By now, but they decided to basically create an aircraft manufacturer in Europe, and that manufacturer was called Airbus. So basically, this was quite a successful project, as we do know now, as basically currently Airbus is a market leader after Boeing has spent a couple of decades doing the wrong thing. Anyway, nowadays, so we basically lag behind a little bit in some major markets with digital transformation, energy transition, microelectronics, cloud, and things like that. So, and European Union and its body, the European Commission, has basically decided that it's time to catch up. And therefore they founded this IPCEI project. And the specific branch we are interested in is the IPCEI CIS, which is Cloud Infrastructure and Services. So there are some of the facts on the screen now which are not, let's say, very pleasant for the European manufacturers or the Europeans as such. So it turns out 92% of all the data that we process or that is generated in the Western world is stored inside the United States. So, and this is kind of bad for us because this is a different legislation. This is also basically money that is flowing to the American companies. And for very well-known reasons, currently how do I put it? So the United States administration is currently, to some extent, unreliable partner, you can say. So there are a lot of good reasons why we should become basically more advanced in cloud technologies and processing the European data. And therefore, we need to put forward the European clouds and the cloud platforms. In 2020, there was already an attempt to solve the problem by creating something that was called Gaia X. They came up with thing, if I'm not mistaken, that was called the Sovereign Cloud Stack, which was largely based on OpenStack. Yeah, but then they decided actually to invite all the hyperscalers, and yeah, my view is that they actually made a pig's breakfast out of the whole thing, and this kind of failed. Although there are some successes in that sense, that there was already an attempt basically to create a European counterpart to the hyperscalers, and that there were some efforts in implementation on the implementation front as well. So now in 2021, the Cloud Infrastructure Services, this CIS initiative emerged, and basically last year, specifically in Latvia, it finally took off. So the current timeline is basically this project will go till the end of 2027. So at least for Latvia. In some countries it will end sooner, already 2026. Some countries like Italy, they need a bit more time, so it will go longer there. But anyway, so in the IPCEI CIS project, what we have now is 12 European Union member states, including Latvia. So Latvia is the only Baltic state that is participating in the project. So 3.5 billion euros are being invested into all of these efforts, and there are more than 100 industry partners and European technology providers who participate in that project. So what the scope of the project is, the whole project is basically divided into 4 work streams. So the first work stream is the Cloud-Edge Continuum infrastructure. So when we talk about that, then mainly what they mean is basically all the telcos. So like Vodafone, Deutsche Telekom, and so on. So basically, there are people who are providing this, let's say, networking capabilities, especially to IoT devices and similar stuff. So in the most of the cases, they are metered networks, but not only that. As the basically telcos or the telecommunication providers are expanding their business into the data center business, then they are participating in this work stream 1. So the work stream 2 is actually main focal area for myself, and this is the cloud edge capabilities. So basically that means that those are the runtimes, actually, which is, I will show you a diagram later, which will explain this a little bit. These are the runtimes in our specific case, actually some flavor of Kubernetes that will carry the most workloads. Then what we have on the work stream 3 are advanced smart data processing tools. That basically means those are tools that are running already on this runtime provided by the work stream 2, and provide, let's say, some sort of managed service and provide some sort of added value capabilities, whatever you can put into the term smart data processing. And advanced applications, this is actually something that is more about the use cases. So given the runtimes, given the network infrastructure, given, let's say, all the smart data processing tools, you want to use them for something really useful, and that is basically the main concern of the workstream 4. They are actually providing different use cases. So in our case, basically, those are the digital twins, or this digital twins platform and the whole digital twins idea. And in our case, specifically, we are focusing, or our research partner, the Riga Technical University, is focusing on an area that is called urban digital twins. Anyway, so my beloved workstream 2 actually has mainly 3 platforms. they promote and they aim to use. So the MCK is the multi-cluster Kubernetes or the Aurora platform. This platform is mainly driven by a German company called SAP, which you might know of. And basically what they have developed is some sort of Kubernetes at scale, and that is something that they call Gartner. This is the Gartner project. And then there is also the Virtora platform. And Virtora platform is basically driven by a Spanish company that is called Open Nebula. Open Nebula is something that is, you can say this is a cloud platform software. So it's very similar to OpenStack, but I'm not that, I'm not too deep into, let's say, this Virtora and Open Nebula thing, so I cannot really compare the two on a sufficient level. But basically, for the sake of this presentation, it is enough that you actually understand what a cloud platform is. So basically, a cloud platform is something that is providing all the services that you know from the hyperscalers, like specifically the computing service, and then there is a networking component. There is different services on top of that, as you may know from Amazon, Azure, or Google Cloud. And then there is third platform, which I do not know much about, and this is the THEO. This is basically, again, the stuff for the edge and telcos. So that platform is more targeted at doing something with the IoT devices and connecting them to the cloud. Now, talking about the digital models and talking about the digital twins. So I would like to show, after I restore the connection, I would like to show just this one slide. So basically, there is a misconception about what the digital twin is and what it isn't. So essentially, what we know the best is probably digital model. So digital model is actually something that is the reflection or the model of some real-time system or some system in a real world. And that has been around for quite some time, and this is used in all kinds of simulations, be it in research, or be it in manufacturing, or be it in something else. And then there is actually a digital shadow. The digital shadow is basically a digital model which is being enriched with the real-time data. So this is the actual data that is coming right now at this time from real sensors in the real world, so that you can have a much better modeling of or a much better understanding, visualization, and therefore modeling of the processes that are going on right now. And the digital twin, on top of the digital shadow, it actually should add or adds the ability to make decisions based on the real-time data. So that basically this is sort of a feedback that you actually feed in from the digital model, from your modeled world, from your digital twin back into the real world. So the most projects that claim that they have developed a digital twin that I have seen are at best basically something like the digital shadow. So I think the digital twin is actually something that is still to be developed on a large scale. Okay, there are existing solutions on the market. So mainly those are the IoT platforms from the hyperscalers, but they are very specific and they are proprietary in many cases. Besides of that, they work only within a specific ecosystem. So that basically means Amazon wants that they use the Amazon devices, Azure wants that they use Microsoft or whatever devices they actually promote on their platform, and the same is true for Google. Now, there are different digital twin application areas like the transport and mobility, energy sector, and for example, civil defense, but I will not go into that. So there are different just those are just the areas where digital twins can be applied. Now we are coming to the interesting part, and this is the digital twins DevOps platform, or as we call it, Digit DevOps platform. So this is something that we will develop in DatiGroup as part of our contribution to the IPCEI CIS project. And we will do it in a sense end to end. So starting with, we are working on our own hardware and our own containerized data center. And basically our research partner, the Riga Technical University, is actually working on this digital twins functionality. What we focus on our side at DatiGroup, mainly on the DevOps capabilities and mainly on operating the platform, mainly providing the infrastructure, creating all the underlying runtimes, creating services on top of that, and things like that. So about the timeline. So currently we are in the phase of the industrial research. This will last at least till the end of 2026 and beyond. And then there is also something that is called development phase. And then with the development phase and with the end of the development phase will end basically this funding. And then the commercialization is actually something that we will start after 2027, once we have developed services that are basically to be sold on the market, and then we will capitalize on the knowledge and all the stuff that we have created. So when we talk about development, it does not mean that we will develop the platform in that time. Of course, all the development of the platform will happen during the industrial research phase. It's just basically the classification of the, let's say, technology readiness levels within the EU that mandates basically this kind of view. So industrial research is everything, including basically creating code, creating the platform, and making it run, let's say, in lab-like environments. So development is something that in the development phase, you rather validate it against in industry scenarios in real operational environments. And commercialization is actually something that should bring money at the end of the day instead of spending it on research and development. So if we talk about the high-level architecture of the whole platform, then that is basically depicted on this slide. So what you can see here, well, is on the very bottom, there is network and hardware. So this network and hardware is actually, we have a very small data center, which is basically the size of 40-foot maritime container. And then we have a couple of servers in there, and those we will use basically to create this platform and to run all this research on. I will show a glimpse of it in the next slide. Then on the top of the but the main point about the hardware is that basically this is something that we will operate on our own. So those are real servers. We are not buying any hardware, let's say, hosting capacity or something like that, but we are really, we have the real thing, the real boxes, and we install the software on those boxes, and we will use them all together in our project. On top of that, we will install, and that is basically the first layer of this whole architecture, the cloud platform. In our case, this is basically OpenStack. As I mentioned before, the Aperora platform actually consists mainly of the Gardener Kubernetes stuff developed by SAP, but the cloud platform they run their stuff on is preferably OpenStack. So, and then on top of these things, we will develop various platform services. Some of them are mentioned here, like MQTT, Apache Spark, Redis, Kafka, you name it. And those platform services is something that will be consumed. Those will be consumed by the Digit DevOps platform, and this is the actual digital twins application. So the idea of the whole digital twins application, as technical university people have conceived it, is that it should provide you with, let's say, no code or less code environment, so that you can basically, based on the fragments and based on the reusable components, create your own digital twin for a specific scenario that basically these fragments and, let's say, reusable components are meant for. So specifically in, let's say, in the urban twins area, there might be twins that are related to traffic, traffic control, traffic modeling on the streets, or basically the water treatment, wastewater treatment, and similar stuff, right? So there are different verticals that they basically plan to implement, but it is not decided yet which exactly they will be. But essentially, the outcome of this whole thing is generalized, let's say, little code or no code platform that allows people to somehow configure and run digital twins based on, let's say, reusable components and these fragments. And of course, to stand up all of these components and to provide our services, we also need something that we call internal services. This is actually goes through all these layers. As basically to stand up the whole thing, we are using the automation approach. That basically we would like to avoid any type of manual intervention and any type of manual, let's say, configuration and deployment and provisioning. So instead, we plan to use CI/CD tools like Nexus and Concourse. Then, of course, everything is GitLab based. Git based and GitLab in particular. And the HashiCorp Vault is basically a service that stores the secrets that are needed for all these things to be standed up and be operated. And then there are some cross-cutting concerns. The one of them is monitoring and logging, but notably the security and architecture. So this is actually how we define them, because these things are actually important in all levels here, and we need to take care of them somehow. So before I dive into the hardware, I would like to spend a couple more words about the platform as such. So the whole project, or this whole mission that is called IPCEI CIS, is about creating a European counterpart to those hyperscalers and to create an open source platform which is freely available to everybody who wants to operate it. So, and besides of that, so the big target is actually, or the big vision is to create a unified platform, so that when you move between, let's say, those different manufacturers or providers, or actually those are the operators of the platform, you have very little obstacles in your way. So theoretically, you should be able to easily move it from one data center, from one provider to another one. And basically, there is no something that we call vendor lock-in, as it is actually with the major hyperscalers and major cloud providers, mainly from the North American continent. Anyway, so let's spend a couple words about the hardware, because I mean, again, we are gadget people, aren't we? And so what we have here is actually, we have a couple of servers. So this is actually called the management server, and then these three are basically meant for the installation of our cluster, cloud computing cluster. And then the most interesting parts are basically underneath. So those are the machine learning and AI servers, which have a bit of a power. Let me put it that way. So each of those has basically 8 times the NVIDIA H200 tensor core GPUs, 1.5 terabytes of RAM, and similar stuff, and 56 core processor. I mean, it actually has 2 56 core processors. But the fun fact, or the less fun fact about these things, is that, first of all, when they are switched on, they make an incredible noise. Yeah, because when all of those ventilators, when all of those fans, when they start spinning, it creates a very high pitching, squeaking sound, which is very unpleasant to say the very least. It actually hurts the ear. So it's very hard to be there when those things are running. That's one thing. And the other lesser fun fact is that basically these things come with 6 power supply units with 3000 watts each. Basically, they are in the Q plus N configuration. That basically means to power up the thing, you need at least 2 of them. And the other 4 are basically just for the reasons of redundancy. But anyway, as you can see, so when it is fully loaded, the thing draws around 6 kilowatts of power. So it's even expensive to operate them. But anyway, so after this wonderful dive into the world of our gadgets, we will talk now about the cloud platform a little bit. So the cloud platform of our choice is in this case OpenStack. So we decided to go with this one for 2 major reasons. So first of all, the DatiGroup has already some experience with OpenStack deployments in various scenarios, including the National Library, where on the OpenStack, basically there are a couple of, let's say, government-run systems being hosted. And this is one of the oldest and I think the most popular open source cloud platform. And besides of that, the Gartner Kubernetes stuff, Gartner Kubernetes stuff is basically specified to run exactly on the OpenStack. As an alternative, they have also the VMware, but this is out of question for this specific project. But anyway, so we will run it basically on-prem. However, we turn this on-prem servers into something that is a private cloud, as long as we are using this whole thing ourselves. But basically, OpenStack is being used also in the public clouds of various providers. And very often on the OpenStack, you have Kubernetes running in the one or another fashion. So this is just statistics. Anyway, and then what we have on top of that as the next layer is the managed Kubernetes service. So Gardener is a system to manage Kubernetes clusters at scale. That basically means they are meant to run thousands of clusters under basically a single control. This is quite, complicated concept that they have. But anyway, they have created something that should scale well. And we just start making our first experiences with that. So we will also have some, let's say, introductory course on Gardener for our guys working in the project. And probably sometime later this year, I will be able to tell more. But currently, I can show just a couple of pictures. So what they talk about is, first of all, the cubeception concept, which is, of course, something that is combined from the words Kubernetes and inception. So because they use Kubernetes clusters to stand up more Kubernetes clusters to stand up more Kubernetes clusters. So basically, this is all sort of a chained stuff that is going on there. So the cluster hierarchy in Gardener is as depicted here. So what you have at the very beginning is the garden cluster, which is basically the control cluster that is standing up the seed clusters. There is one seed cluster per provider. So in this particular example, they are actually talking about the hyperscalers. But this is for one simple reason. So this means basically that there is, I believe that you still need OpenStack or something like that underneath this platform so that you create a compatible, let's say, cloud layer so that you can move off the platforms that are depicted here to something else instead. And this is also something that is done in the Virtora platform. They basically create different playgrounds in different European data centers, but they also have, let's say, a leg in the AWS. And the reason for that is basically that they want to demonstrate and want to show how easy it is when you use this stuff to migrate off the AWS or other hyperscalers and go into the European cloud. So I think that is the main message behind this stuff that you see here. But anyway, so in our case, instead of AWS, GCP, or Azure, we of course will use the OpenStack on our servers and then deploy the Kubernetes cluster on top of that. So what you have here is also that the from the central control cluster, from the garden cluster, you stand up something like these seed clusters, and the seed clusters have the shoot cluster control planes. So basically the data plane and the control plane are here divided into two parts. And what they do with the control plane is basically that they wrap these control planes as, let's say, in the Kubernetes artifacts that you actually know of. So they are basically running in the pods, and that means that all the Kubernetes resilience mechanisms, all the deployment stuff, stateful stat stuff, and so on, is applicable for the control plane. So that basically means that if you in the traditional cluster, if you have something like the control plane node and that node goes down, then actually someone needs to take care of that. Of course, also in the real deployments, you have something like the redundancy and so on. But if the control plane or the control node goes down, you anyway have to restore it somehow, be it by some mechanisms, half automated, manually, or somehow. You need to take care of that. So, and that by the design here, you actually use all the resilience mechanisms that are already available on the Kubernetes or in the Kubernetes, and put this whole thing, let's say, in a pod, and then you can actually have all the advantages of the control plane that is being run that way, like the replication factors, redundancy, or single node or single pod if you wanted, deployment, which automatically can stand up new nodes if let's say one of the pods goes down, and so on. Okay, and then what you else have here is or are these shoot clusters. The shoot cluster is something where the actual workloads are run. And the advantage also of this architecture is that the shoot cluster as a whole can be handled to the user. So, and what they do not have access to is basically to the seed clusters. So therefore, they actually have divided, let's say, the data plane, or let's say the workloads that are run by the user from the control planes. So therefore, you can basically have a better control. So, first of all, the users of the shoot clusters don't have the access to seed clusters, and they don't have the ability to basically to destroy anything on the control plane for their cluster, let alone fiddle with the control planes of other tenants' clusters. So now let's skip that, because I think this is I need to shorten it a little bit, because I have been shown signs that I need to come to the end. Anyway, so this is our offering as we plan it. So after the phase of the development, so basically there are plans to offer the platform as a product or offer this as a service, the digital twins platform as a service. So these approaches are not new. And then now we come basically to what the title said about the challenges and the opportunities. So, well, the challenges. First and foremost, what you can observe always in the European projects. So, as the European Union is a confederation of multiple countries with very different interests at times, and there are so many vendors involved, they all have different interests. So, and they sort of are, to consolidate all of these things and make sure that we don't lose the focus is one of the challenges here. Of course, there is also the strong competition from the major cloud providers, and this will not go away anytime soon. And then regarding the technology, there of course is the steep learning curve. So basically, I have discovered it all by myself. So there is a lot of things that you need to know until you can operate basically a fully scaled cloud platform, including all the Kubernetes stuff and so on. It is anyway, although there are challenges, there are certainly also the opportunities. So the one of the things that we definitely need to take care of is we need to strengthen the European digital sovereignty so that we lessen, so that we reduce the dependency on, let's say, the major hyperscalers and the cloud platforms. Then one of the biggest targets and aims is to create a unified European Cloud-Edge Continuum. So we are not talking only about the cloud capabilities, but we are also talking about the edge. We are talking about also the integrating the IoT devices so that we provide a whole comprehensive platform to actually cover all of this. Then participation in the largest of open source projects in Europe is the greatest opportunity ever that we did not have so far in the European Union, which is great. And for what we can do, or what is the benefit or the advantage of ourselves, of those people who are directly involved in the project. So the first of all is the gathering the experience with the state-of-the-art cloud technologies and build a sustainable future business model. And last but not least, fun. Well, that is essentially it about the, let's say, the actual Digit DevOps platform. And now I will just spend a few more minutes on the DatiGroup as such.
Yeah, true.
Or maybe we can go back a couple of slides. No, just kidding. So I don't want to make you nervous, Uldis. Anyway, so DatiGroup is actually something that is already on the Latvian market has been on the Latvian market for 30 years. So we mainly focus on systems integrator stuff. What that means is basically that we are providing solutions to different tenders, mostly in government sector, in the public sector, but also in some cases in the private sector. So we have vast experience of, let's say, integrating different stuff and providing different solutions with different kind of software. Specifically, I will show you on another slide. There are some focus areas. Then there are 30 plus certified professionals that are working in the company. As I said, so basically the target markets are the private and the public sector. So these are the three key areas that we actually have. So the cloud solutions is something that I have already mainly talked about. So when we are building this IPCEI CIS project and the Digit DevOps platform, we are building on our previous experience of creating something that we call Flex Cloud. There is also the web page called the flexcloud.com. So essentially, this is some kind of rebranded OpenStack underneath, but we add some, let's say, added value services on top of that, and notably we add the installation and support services. So then there are some software basically in the analytics and forensics. So all security related areas, basically with institutions like Ministry of Interior or Ministry of Defense. And then there is also the systems integration, like which works with the IT infrastructure, video management, and biometric solutions. So those are a couple of reference projects that we have accomplished so far. Those are just a couple of examples. So the Latvian State Roads project and the National Library of Latvia is something where we have actually implemented and still continue to support the cloud platform, which we call Flex Cloud, and which is based on the OpenStack. So we have already a lot of OpenStack experience. And then they're very also involved in a joint project with CERN about the HPC resources of Latvian institutions. And we also were among the developers of NATO Alliance ground surveillance system, basically doing all the integration works for vendors that provided those modules. Apart from the commercial projects, we also do something that is called the research and development. This is mainly my area. IPCEI CIS is such a project. So what we have also done others, like the Horizon Europe Expedite project. So this is the digital twin project to optimize energy flows. Then we have a materials modeling solution, again, which is part of the Horizon project. Then also with the European Defence Fund, and last but not least, so what I have been talking so long is this AURA, or the IPCEI CIS DGT DevOps project. All right, that is pretty much almost all. The only thing that I would like to add is basically that I would like you to stay tuned and follow up what we are actually doing. So we are basically just at the very beginning of developing this platform. So I would imagine that I can stand here again in 3 years or so and then present all the outcomes, and then we'll compare where we get with all of this. But I basically, just for your reference and your information, there are also a lot of information available on the European web pages, like the IPCEI CIS projects. Then we also have our own project page. Yeah, we are hiring. So currently, I think we have almost no open positions, but still there might be some. No, this is not really true. So what we are still looking for is basically, or what we urgently need is a full stack developer. If you know somebody who wants to go into the wonderful world of, let's say, the open source development with the European projects, then let us know. So, and then as an outcome of this whole project, we will not only submit the, let's say, the project progress reports, but we plan to open the only showroom in the northeast of Europe to showcase actually this IPCEI CIS cloud in action. So again, stay tuned, and thank you very much for all your patience.
But we are running away.
Oh,
so
I just thought that my time is over.
No, your time's not over. We are open for questions. I hope there's gonna be a lot. And then this is the new. This is the best we could afford for the sponsors' money. It's one red ball. It has a super small text on it, DevOps AI Latvia, and it's not for you, Gints. You can hold it, but it's for the best question. Okay. The best question gets this first. No one has this ball. No one. This is the first ball. Yeah. Questions? There's someone with a question.
Yes.
Please.
Actually,
Go ahead.
I have two questions. Like, how far you are from actually showable something, and where you are planning to show these 25 module prototypes? What are in the specification of the deliverables?
So first of all, we are at the very beginning of the whole thing. We just started. So basically, we are ramping up our team still. What we have done so far is actually purchase the hardware, as you have seen, and now we need to start basically installing all the operating systems on top of that, all the cloud stack, and then the Kubernetes stuff. And besides of that, the research partner is also working on their part. So there are some deliverables that we have already delivered, but mostly these are just sort of prospects, or let's say the outlines for what is to come. We are very early on, so we just started a couple of months ago, and I mean we will work on this project for basically 3 more years.
But the end result is gonna be some kind of open source project?
Yes,
or
definitely.
It's gonna be open source internally.
No. This basically the requirement of the European Union and the whole project is that this platform or the whole outcomes are truly open source. That basically it will be published at some point either on GitHub or somewhere where you can basically access it. So the idea is that as a result of this project, you get a software that can be without royalties, can be used by anybody who wants to run a data center and basically provide this cloud platform and provide these services. So our outcome, or let's say the end result of what we plan to achieve is that we will build a showroom where we actually show all the stuff and all the platform that we have built in those years. And you can expect that you will be able to also access and play with, let's say, with DevOps platform and things like that. Yes.
Last 2 questions.
Is there any plans to, as I know, open sources are open for community contributions as well? Is there a plan to do that one, and which point?
So this is a very tough question in a sense, because I mean, the honest answer is I don't know. It is desirable that we can build a community around this. But I think that as with every open source project, you first need to create some, critical mass. So this is, I think, important. So we haven't not decided just yet at which point we will publish this software or how this whole thing will turn out. But this is the ultimate goal of the whole thing. We basically, there is just the General Assembly coming our way of the IPCEI CIS project in Guntis, starting from the day after tomorrow. Also such questions will be discussed there. So there are many participants there actually. So for example, the sub guys, they already have published their software because they are working on that already for quite some time. So in our case, we will basically adopt what they have delivered so far and then enrich it and augment it with our contributions, and then let's say. So at some point, once it is published, everybody is then welcome to contribute it. But we don't have any process just in place just yet.
Last quick question and quick answer.
Yeah.
No. What was the question?
Well, to contribute, you have to be able to install that. I don't think that I can afford this hardware that you showed us bought for the
No. What I have shown is basically these 2 huge, I mean these monster servers. So those are just for things like AI and machine learning related stuff. So large language models and digital twins models and similar stuff. So I mean, this is not the only part of the platform. We also have something like the OpenStack, that can be installed even on a very small hardware. So there is also a version called DevStack, which is kind of similar to what Minikube is for the Kubernetes stuff and so on. And also the Gardener can be installed on much smaller hardware. So I think, as I mentioned, so there are also edge devices in this picture. So basically they also will run some type of the platform software, and edge device is typically something that has a constrained hardware resources actually. So it sort of needs to scale.
Yeah.
So
Which was the best question?
I think the first question was the best because I mean, the guy was.
You were getting running away.
But here, this beautiful lady, Gints, can you help with my go?
Gints, come. So, before the big gift box, there are just 3 mugs with our logo in the world. Lauris has one of them. Another one is in Oracle office. And the number 3 is, where is the number 3? I don't know. But those were the 3 only ones. That's it. This is not a mug. This is a proper gift. No, mug was amazing, right? I hope so. So here's some stuff to you. It's gonna be a surprise. See? Yeah. Thank you, Gints, for coming. Big applause to Gints. All right, and we continue with the lightning talk. I hope I haven't forgotten it, and we just move forward with this. And we have today another amazing speaker with a short experience story, which I need to figure out how to, control. Yes. Do you need this thing?
I don't know.
It should work. Why Gints didn't use it? I don't know, but
Just to
click down and it should work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Give a little applause to Aleksandra.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. So I'm for the first time will give a presentation at such a event. That's why thank you, Uldis, for the organization and for the opportunity just to share our experience. So are you full of the energy? Are you ready to continue? Okay. Yes. Okay. So today will be just a very short presentation about our expectation and reality of using AI exactly in our recruitment agency. So it's not working. So my name is Aleksandra Čudova. Maybe somebody knows me, and IT Camp Recruitment Agency. Okay, nobody's great. So today is a new audience. So, okay, about me. So I'm a founder of several companies like IT Camp Recruitment Agency, like Go to Latvia. This is the migration and the relocation services, and Grow Up Academy. This is online school for the junior managers, for the junior entrepreneurs, and for the people who are willing to build a great team for them. So I started. Today we'll be speak about the IT camp, and I started this company 10 years ago, and right now we help different businesses to find top talents in Latvia and the other 15 countries. And when I started, I was controversial, but right now. Controversial means then manual sourcing, Excel sheets, a lot of million calls to the candidates. And when AI came, of course, we and I think that everyone thought that AI will work and do our work and we can just drink a coffee. But dreams are dreams and reality is a little bit different. So, not this way. But before I start our speech, so I want to say just a little bit important notes about our recruitment agency, that we are not doing mass recruitment. So basically, we are mostly working with the middle class and higher senior roles, and here is human touch is matter. So mostly currently nowadays we are working mostly with Latvian companies or companies who base it in Latvia and who are willing to find candidates from Latvia, and it's very important. So that's working. So the first expectation that AI will solve our sourcing issues, and of course AI make it more faster and better, but unfortunately reality that the Latin market is too small. And unfortunately, I want to repeat that unfortunately, a lot of candidates not optimize their CVs and LinkedIn profiles. That's why you can right now just check your LinkedIn profiles, but we could find you more faster. And of course, as a AI more working with the facts, that AI filters just out too many good candidates. That means that we lost a lot of candidates, unfortunately. So the second expectation that AI will automate all our hiring process. So it's good, it worked good, but unfortunately not for the 100%. Maybe it's a good news because if we automate all the process, so I will lost my job, but I love my job. I want to do it, and of course, we improve it a lot of process. Yeah, about the some generating reports, data analysis, job description. But but the most important thing that we improve it is. Communication question. When we have a conflict with a hiring manager would want to reject candidate by looking the CV, just reject it. So AI just help to find the good arguments why need to hire or just why need to invite this candidate just for a short call. This is really good, but AI were tried to use during the interview to transcribe at once at 3 languages. It's mostly English, Latvian, and sometimes Russian, but there is some bugs, but we don't deep dive this question. That's why this question is open. So the last expectation is about that candidates loves communicate with the bots, but I don't know who loves communicate with the bots. Nobody's. So you accepted my expectation. So it means that it's really wrong because nobody likes communicate to bots when it comes to job, because people, candidates, they want to feel understood. And exactly when we're working on the small market, so relationship, yeah, thanks. In the small market, it's really matters relationship and human touch. Of course, AI can make you faster and move forward, but people want to work with people. That's why when you are building great tools, platforms around AI, please don't forget about the human behind the screen. So what we learned is that the best combo at the moment is just AI plus human. That's why I'm very happy that we have a job still. So we're still doing manual sourcing because we just it's effective. So we can see. I just don't say about one word that, for example, AI works with the facts, and there is no empathy, and AI don't see blind to potential. And if, for example, a recruiter has experience, so recruiters see between the lines, so trying to find the potential, to understand the experience, mindset, at what you're willing to do, but AI doesn't do that. So, and the main conclusion that it should assist, not replace us, because as I said previously, the human touch is really matter. And as you say that you don't last communicate with the chat, so it comes if it's about the work, yeah, and your opportunities and your growing. So we need to work with the people. So thank you very much for your time. I was very happy to, yeah, it's just a short presentation. So that's why let's connect and we can chat during the break, yeah, or after event, especially if you are building some tools around AI and HR tech. So it will be very useful for us. So have a nice evening and thank you for your attention.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Aleksandra. Then I have a very special gift to you. It's a contact book with all our names,
Oh my God.
numbers, and emails. But you have AI for that, so this one is empty.
But
It's you'll get there. You'll get there. Thank you, and it's of course with our logo.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, moving on. So, do you know what is Riga Tech Dinner? Who has been there? Raise your hand. Just a few people, really. Just a few. Okay, 7 maybe. So it's an event which includes good food, good people, good talks, good atmosphere, good topics. There was that the people who are going around and selling that book. They said you need to have 7 things to say yes. Good wine and good design. Yeah, Canva makes good design. Yeah. So the next time is about EdTech, and you just made a picture, but actually there is a very lively WhatsApp group. The rule of that WhatsApp group is to not say anything. Do not chat there. People will be removed from the group if they start basically chatting there. The group is only for Riga Tech Dinners and not for any type of spam. So you can through this get in that group. But also the information is available on meetup.com in our group, also on LinkedIn. There is a separate page. There is like 5 seats left. There is very limited amount of people. And this time, those who remember, oh, where the hell was that? Which is an amazing place and I love it. But this time, we are in a different place. So pay attention. That's kinda in a city center, kinda. We'll try that out. So EdTech as a topic, and those two are super serious guys. I assume that's gonna be a very official event. I hope not, but we'll see. All right, song 2, which means Guntis said a few things. I don't remember the things, but this is Guntis' song, and you can kind of start preparing. This is the song which you ordered. No one has ever heard the song, ever. No, wrong. Sorry, wrong song. This is Guntis' song. It seems that he doesn't like it. Not really.
Was it by LLM? Was it by AI? What is it?
It is like a generated song.
So basically, you can see it hooks the last keyword I mentioned, not the first 5 or something. It's all about the jazz.
To go forward, you click down. It's like on a plane, if you're a pilot. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's roll. You have 45 minutes tops. Like tops. I'll let you know.
I'll try to be shorter.
Okay.
I need to get it home.
This is shutting up, and let's give Guntis the stage.
Yeah. Hi, Guntis Čoders would be in Latvian. But when I sign up online, you can't use those things. So that's my kind of IT industry surname. And it's very good opening liner as well, Mr. Coders. I do not code though. I do prompt a lot for the last more than 2 years, probably 10, 12 hours a day. And I don't remember when the title changed. This automated agents. And then I thought automated automation actually is a bit better, what I'm trying to explain today. And it won't be like educational or something. Maybe it's more of a what we do and how I see how we could get to the, what was it called? There was this cool term at the very end, meta automation, basically when you can automate the automation. So it's not because of the pitching what we do. It's more of a, as I said, how we are thinking with THEO. That's the thing we are building. It's related to the context and it's related to the automation at one point. But the thing we are solving is the AI adoption bottleneck. And I see that one of the main issues would be the lack of the high quality context, which is required for AIs to be able to tailor whatever output or reply you need, or if it's an action or something. So the lack of the context in this case, we start from the business context side, but I'll explain that there are different layers of those contexts, how we see and understand, and we can see that there's like you can automate a lot of stuff, and you can use AI for a while, and it's been quite capable. Become last year, especially, and it became quite cost effective as well, available for even for the SMEs, but still more than 90, around 90% or something are still struggling with the implementation and adoption of it. And it's because I'll explain the reasons basically, but one of those is they do not know what are the capabilities, what to automate and how to automate, and so on and so on. So it knows everything, but it doesn't know your business in details, right? And people are actually quite bad at explaining their context, basically either about the tool, either about the business and everything else. So what we do, we basically take different kind of information about the business. We focus on small and medium now, and on consultants who are serving the small and medium businesses, and turn that scattered data into some organized type of a format, which is it's technically it's technically not super advanced. More is about the methodology, how we are shaping the structure, which is predefined. I'll show you later that one as well. But basically, the result is we just simplify. Instead of uploading and providing too much data, either two things might happen. It might go hit the limit of context window, right? Either it just will be confused, especially if you have chaotic information. And that's actually not just for SMEs, the same is for large companies. I was working at Accenture. It was very well organized, very structured, but still it's so complex that it's not completely aligned, right? There are different tools, different versions of different instructions, and so on and so on. So if you provide let's say clean and streamlined data to the LLM, it will be confusing for it. It doesn't know which is the right version, which is the correct one, and so on and so on. So what we do, we organize, streamline, avoid conflicts, and make it one clean, shiny format of it. And it works like a pre-prompt. I don't know if I have that one later. I posted it's quite hard for me. I have to balance on daily basis. I have to deep dive into AI and ecosystem and everything, what's happening there. And where we fit in this ecosystem, and what's the coming trends, and what are the threats and opportunities. On the other hand, on daily basis, I have to talk to SMEs and consultants who are really, I have to dumb down a lot. So it's hard for me to jump back and forth. And this was one of the posts I posted, I believe, yesterday, because I understood that I tried to explain the thing, as I said, the well-structured, organized context style we create. I noticed that people that do not even understand what it's for and what it does and what's the pre-prompt and stuff like that. So this is super simplified way of the general knowledge. It knows everything from the internet and some other information fed in. And the simple way would be, if you ask a question, it's basically, it can answer, but it doesn't know your business, your specific use case, your specific context. And what we're trying to solve here is we help to provide the business context and some additional special instructions, which is that every time you ask a question or whatever, to do something, we put it within the prompt, and basically that turns that one into much more business-aware, context-aware response. So this instruction, I'll show you about the instructions as well. And this is what I said. I see that the capabilities are there for a while, but it's quite hard for most of the people actually utilize them. And the real world challenges, yeah, there are different reasons, but basically, even the automation, right? The Zapiers and Make.com, they're there for a while. There are a lot of templates, marketplace for the templates. There are a lot of consultants, but still not too many people have automated too much stuff. And we noticed even us internally, we have a lot of custom GPTs, let's say pre-trained assistants from different use cases, but we didn't have too much automation implemented. And the reason, again, we know what's capable, we know how to do it, but we just don't have time to actually set up, because it still requires quite a lot of time to like configure all of the fields and the workflows and stuff like that. So the gap is actually growing. Okay, there are some tools which makes it more accessible, but still, okay, so I should check here probably. So the context of automation gap, as I mentioned, the business context, then the automation tools. With automation tools, even with the templates there, but I'm talking about probably a different automation that DevOps think of automation, right? I'm talking about like regular business needs, about sales, about marketing. Okay, some internal operational automation, but it's not like technical infrastructure and solution automations. So, and yeah, the bridging the gap, how to explain, how to turn this one, the business context, implement very smoothly in those automation tools and make it streamlined and super simple. And then agents, it's a bit different. They might be trained faster because they're good practice for every startup. Every new company start vertical, start narrow, right? Do one specific task, which is cool. And that's why we have a lot of those AI agents coming up. Comparatively easy to launch, not too much to train because it's really narrow use case. But the problem I see that you will have like a bunch of them, hundreds of them, dozens of them, like apps on the phone. You need an app for that, right? You need an agent for that. And at one point, it will be super hard to maintain. So it's a short-term solution and it needs to be solved. And the context translation challenge here is that so the strategic context, so what the company does, what are the objectives, what are the goals and specific values, maybe purpose and stuff like that. So strategy and blah, blah. And then the operational context level, so how, whatever we want to achieve, how to turn that one into specific processes, and those are limited by resources and capabilities and stuff like that. So this is another thing very hard for SMEs to explain, and even not SMEs. I work with the consultants. Most of them are I believe, still like creative people, right? More than systematic people, and even for them, it's very hard to explain when I say, hey, I can help you to work with your customers faster. I can help you build these custom GPTs and automations. And they're like, oh no, the thing I do is like super creative, you know. I just, you know, it happens. I have some stuff I do, but it's not. You can't automate. You can't systemize that one. So, but I believe they just can't explain the process. Everything can be systemized. Even like a thing like design thinking. You probably heard that one. Years ago, it was like magic, right? It just Steve Jobs just somehow did it. He's a genius. But then some guys came and explained how you can kind of simulate this design thinking approach, having step by step from different perspectives, and you kind of get to the similar result. So here as well, this is something quite hard for many people to explain what they do, how they think, and how can I repeat that one. And then the technical context, that would be turning that one into technical language, let's say, of agentic workflows or agentic environment systems, and including tools the business is using, specific data like data sources and stuff like that. So all these three have to be, you know, defined, and more importantly, they have to collaborate and talk to each other. So this is actually now I helped one company. They are willing. Their goal is to become 0 people specific type of a company. I won't mention, but basically their goal is to be completely autonomous. Like and the thing was that so this is how he started. He started with, again, defining the purpose of the company, where they want to get in 2 or 5 years. Then he's trying to, not tried, he's still doing it, a lot of processes, basically listing all of the processes. And now I helped him with this one, explaining how to bridge the gap between he's building on Nain. So how to explain and keep track on what has been built, how it's working, how it collab or interferes with any other automation existing already there, and does it still support the purpose of the company? So if these change, how you can maintain that these are still up to date, right, and supporting. So I don't know, either it's something genius I created for him, this documentation and structures he should implement, either it's complete bullshit, but I created a system if the end result would be what was it, CTO, agent CTO automation, something like what would be the best order of those words? Basically, automation, CTO automation agent or something. So I created the CTO agent architect, that the agent that will help to build the other agent. So basically, he will be something like a project manager and / CTO that helps to build another system. And that was actually a quite good use case that inspired me as well. They've been working on that for a while, but he said the challenge is at one point, as I mentioned, to figure out how to build the knowledge and documentation of what's already technically happening. That's the hardest part. He can manage those. I'm helping with THEO to align the strategic. He's working on himself on this one, but this is quite challenging to kind of communicate and build. So yeah, so another reality for SMEs, especially for SMEs, but I see similar challenges for bigger companies. Quite a lot of stuff lives in people's heads. It's not well documented. They believe it's somewhere, but they just know it. But they have to, when you ask them define, whatever industry specific ICP or something, they start looking around and it's nowhere. So they're not well documented. If they're documented, they might be outdated. And yeah, in this case, if you have a poorly documented or in heads, it's a high chance of losing the knowledge whenever someone's leaving. So the combination of this one, it's quite challenging for providing the info, the context necessary for the AIs. So the blockers I mentioned, very many do not understand what are the capabilities of AI and automations. So they hire consultants who help them to figure out what to do. When they figuring out what to do, then they hire the same or another consultant who's actually building something, and then probably they're not capable of maintaining that one, so they need an outsourced consultant or service provider who's maintaining that one. So all combination of all of these is what keeps majority of the businesses out of this one, lacking back to okay, going in detail. So basically, too many options, unclear choices. The pattern blindness, as I said, they quite hard for them to figure out and explain those processes in the company. And this is quite related to the no system. How to automate? Okay, translation challenge, system integrations. We spoke about that one. Maintaining, again, synchronization. I told about that one as well, and that's why. We came to the conclusion, or this kind of part of our mission. We want to get to the point where we can automate the automation, and one of some there's a lot of stuff happening on daily basis. That's the hard part, right? It's changing so fast. But one cool thing is the automation building using natural language processing. It's kind of step towards democratizing, let's say, or being more available, but the challenge is still for most of the people, it's quite, they still have to figure out what to ask, right? And what are the challenges, and explain as is in the future state, which is still out of reach for quite many people. We're doing business, but they're not good actually at explaining the theory of the business and stuff. what was the? I noticed, for example, what was the next one? MCP, yeah, but I noticed the Zapier now launched this some sort of like a agent builder chat. I thought, oh, that would be a cool thing, so you can kind of talk and build those workflows. But it's working okay, but still, again, you need to be quite clear what exactly you want to do, what tools you want to include, and so on, so on. So all it does, it kind of automates only the steps. You still have to configure them. He puts in those steps, but you have to take one by one and configure them. So it's a step towards more accessible automation, but it's still a long way to go. And especially, as I said, we see that we want to be the ones being helping the business, the user, explain their business and their objectives and their processes to whatever tool there is who can help with the automation using natural language processing. So MCP, not going into details, as I said, I'm not a technical guy, but I really understand quite clearly the capabilities. But this was quite cool when I noticed in, what was it, November, October, I believe, Anthropic launched what was the full multi-environment protocol, communication protocol, but basically that was something we already worked last spring, that we are building this business context layer, let's say something that explains the business in holistic, like a holistic overview about the scope and about the market, about the product and everything. And we are building it like horizontally, basically covering a lot of areas. It's not a good practice for startups. They should focus. So there are many of those vertical solutions and context layers. For example, one would be for the marketing, one for the finances, one would be for technical stuff like workflows and agents and systems. So, but we see that there still will be a need to communicate. Those layers will have to be able to communicate with each other, right? And we want to be the bridge that covers, like, if marketing wants to talk to the finance context layer, we want to be the ones helping them to communicate, understanding each other. So when this came out, I thought, like, oh, that's cool. That's something we've been thinking and talking about, that at one point those different agents and systems will have to be able to communicate in some sort of a standard way, something like API, but AI tailored, let's say. So this is one of the initiatives. And strange thing again, notice when they launched in October, November, no one was like kind of taking attention to that one. Only now, in the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, you start coming up a lot of articles. So more and more companies and individuals are utilizing that one. Yeah, basically what it does, it helps connect my system to any other system, which is AI enhanced and driven. Oh no, I have some more. Okay, that was a fast forward something. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Maybe we can. Redundant context, yeah, and as I said, so basically the idea is that each tool will require the context again about the business, about the use case, about the process or objective. Then you have again different versioning problem, and keeping them up to date is quite challenging. So this is the patterns we discovered, and we apply. So one of those concepts we couldn't explain it different way. What we are doing, this is one would be one of the terms, table of context, the thing we built. And regarding the 4-layer insights, it's approach that we see that quite many are who are using AI. They want to build. There are like a lot of tools. Build your ICP, build your business model, do some research or something. But all of those are they're not, I wouldn't say hallucinating, but they're like low quality because there are a lot of assumptions. So we thought of starting with by observing. So basically what we do, we observe and kind of quote plus observe and explain what we found. We do not try to tell business what should be done or something. So that's the basics. You should be able to kind of observe and explain as is. then you can find the patterns and explain broader concepts. If we found that one and we found that one, so with high confidence we can say that this is like happening. Then we're gonna move to the phase where what most of the companies do online now. They say, give me some information and we're gonna build some magic, right? So, but this is the first two steps. If you're not doing them very well, the third and fourth, they're just super low quality. And the architecture of I don't know if this I can relate. I mean, I hope you might relate at one point how it relates to agents. But this is an approach. It's nothing new, right? But it helps us to build those custom GPTs. If you look from the 3-layer perspective, which is the task, the prompt itself, which is like the technical job description. Very often people try to put everything together or mix them somehow. It's actually lower effectiveness and harder to maintain afterwards as well. So the prompt, basically, that's a task which you kind of input the system, the message, the user message. The system instructions, that's something you send together with this input. But that's in custom GPTs, you've noticed probably. How many of you use Claude? Use Claude? Okay, less than half. ChatGPT probably most, yeah? Okay. So it's a bit different. It's called similar. I believe it's instructions in both cases. For Claude, it's custom instructions, but basically that's something that's more static. And we have. I'm starting to share like tips and tricks about this one in more detail. But basically, you build this as more of a behavior, like how to behave and how to think, how to prioritize, and how to utilize everything else that will be provided. Either it's a data source, either it's a document. Yeah, so this is quite important as well, meaning it's not just about you are some like role. You've heard this prompt building structure maybe or approach, this role, task, objective, something. But here, actually, it's quite important to, the behavior and the utilization of the document, and be aware of the ultimate outcome of what's happening. And that's only the like specific task. And if you build this one correctly, in our case, we provide this context file, which covers quite a lot about the company. Then there's quite universal but very comprehensive instructions. And then you can enable the same this custom GPT. You can enable it for different use cases just by changing prompt instead of building like new custom GPTs for every use case. So if you build these two layers correct way, it's quite universal, working quite well for different use cases. Just tailoring the prompt and the prompt as well. If this is quite good, the prompts that itself can be much simpler, let's say. In our case, still, we are working with the mega prompts. We already, what was it, last year, 2023, I believe, 2023 autumn, already, I believe, but even at that time, we had like 4,000 tokens or something, only the instructions without any context. At that point, it was quite challenging for the models at that point to kind of process that one. And then starting the Sonnet 3.5, only then it kind of started to work much better with the amount of instructions we have in each this prompt input. And now we are up to, depends on the use case, but it's around 7,000 to 9,000, only the instructions, only I showed the, which way I have to go? Okay, again, wrong button. Only this part is like 6,000 to 8,000 tokens, not considering the rest of the context, even what's with the prompt. And the output, as I mentioned, this is the one of the files we create. It's like just text file. Very often we talk to the technical team like it's like text markdown. It's nothing comprehensive, nothing cool, like no knowledge graphs or something. We're using vector database, we're using knowledge base to knowledge graphs to build that and maintain, but the output for now, it's like you kind of just download and upload. It's just text document, but it does the magic. With the system instructions, you can't see, but basically that's another. So these two are the ones we deliver, and then you can add other type of documents which include more details. And we noticed why I said this table of context. The system instruction says you start by loading this one, considering this is the main document you start. Then we provide the whole scope, then like setting the stage. And actually, we noticed that by this way controlling, it much better consumes and utilizes the rest of the documents. If you're using drag system, then you're not controlling too much of like you're providing in a question or something, and then it figures out the semantic search of what could be the things from the whole knowledge base that could be utilized for this specific request. In this case, we are controlling how to kind of approach the rest of the documents. And we hope, I see that could be, it's not the easy thing, but I see that this way we could hack the RAG as well by kind of controlling it more of it. Because I don't rely on AI, right? I like to explain and show how to think and how to process the stuff instead of completely relying on it. Yeah. Then, and the table of context, as I said, and this is the way of how we see that could be. You could manage the different documents and different systems. If you keep this one up to date, then it's like working both ways. It can be up to date, updated from some new input and insight, and vice versa. By having this central table of context, which is like a consolidated overview, you can make sure that all of the other documents are aligned with this kind of, this is easier to maintain than all of it. So you kind of focus on maintaining this one, and it's kind of enables the maintenance of the rest of the documentation and stuff like that. And as I mentioned about so basically the context window, you can't have hundreds of those. So through this one, you could reach through this RAG system or something. So yeah, so basically you don't have to see all of those, but through one central like kind of table of context document, it's much easier to maintain and keep up to date all of the other documentations. Yeah, this context consistency, and this is something that we're going after now. We're kind of capturing and having a snapshot of the company, but the goal is the refinement, and to be able to refine it is quite challenging. You can ask it by prompts, and now again, yeah, with this extended thinking, I was super happy that it has. I could have at last the prompt refinement version like in full length. Few 2 months ago or something, or a month ago, I had to like put it together. I couldn't get it like this 8,000 token output when I was refining the prompt itself. But the thing is, you still can't, like the AI models, they still are not able, if you just rely on general knowledge, even by fine-tuned. If there's like a big, let's say, this business plan, you can't hope that it will rewrite the whole plan, let's say, considering small detail, that, hey, yes, this is a good business plan. I would like to refine it considering this small, I found out this small detail about our customers, and please include like in our business plan, let's say. It's not able to consistently do that. So what we do now, at least this is, as I said, this is just our like journey of understanding how we can solve that one. What we do, we've split the business plan in small pieces, and each of those pieces like a data point, like customer payments, customer gains, value, mission statements, operational team overview, something. So product details and how it works, and each of them is clearly defined what we understand by that one. So as an example, if I would ask, please improve or craft me a value proposition for our product, it will give me good enough output, but it won't be consistent because it's trained on generative, it's like works on generative knowledge, and that the value proposition doesn't have one specific definition, right? It's not like law of physics. It has many different ways of explaining and getting there. So it won't be consistent, that it will change every time, slightly different. So what we do, we take one of those, let's say, ways and explain, this is how we understand it. We'd like to be aligned on this specific way. And we have defined clearly how this affects another one and another one, like both ways, how they're related and dependent with each other. So we crafted this one. When I explained first time, again, IT people, of course, they said, oh, this is not scalable, right? This is not cool. You need something more scalable. But we see that this is actually a good way of, we have these 42, 50 data points, clearly define the relationship. So whenever we change one thing, we can make sure to track how exactly it affects something else and refine it one by one and still keep everything aligned, right? And another thing, we are testing. It works a lot of to do, but whenever we find like people provide some information about the business and we haven't defined the data points, like something specific we were not predicted to look for, then we create a new data point, identify, but before implementing it, we check so it doesn't conflict and how exactly it affects everything else. So in this way, we can extend this kind of static, but with a flexible extension kind of opportunity. Whenever there's new data point coming, and this hard-coded core helps us to keep at least some consistency, right? I'm not sure if it's like limitless. Probably you can't add, like, we have 60 and you add 1,000 like random dynamic data points. It might not work as well anymore, but it will work for a while, for sure, especially if we talk about small and medium businesses. If I don't have to explain Accenture, right, in this structure. Yeah, so the context foundation, this is what we do. We just extract, we like clean, and now using for AI, workflow intelligence. This is the next phase when we're gonna include additional data points. 5 minutes. Yeah. Include additional data points more about the operational level. So what tools the company is using, we can find that quite a lot automatically. There are some ways of figuring out what the company does, what type of tools it's using, what are the resources, like anything that automation consultant will go and ask the company, we can actually get that information automatically, quite a lot of that one. And additionally to that one, nowadays you can, even if we gather the information, we see that something's missing, we can make a call and ask the person automatically. Robot can call and ask those missing questions. And the third one would be the automation optimization, as I mentioned. So it's always checking and communicating with the business context layer, the operational layer, and then it can actively adapt. And I agree. I do, as I said, I do not rely on AI. You always need the person in the loop. And there's a new term, human looped in or something, somehow different. It does the job and then it asks you to join. It doesn't stop, but it just asks your opinion. And from more like operational, you just get more strategic function as a person. So you will have the job, it will be different, right? What else? Oh, this is the other way. Yeah, so as we see, the true meta automation can happen when we'll be able to explain the business, turn that one and explain the processes, and then explain into as a from technical perspective. And one more thing, the guy who's building those, he wants to become like zero employee company. He said, what should I build on? I said, you can build whatever, like what works the best. Use the Airtable, use the 9, because most importantly, I would say, build the documentation, build the structure, because quite sure that in less than a year or a year, you'll be able, if you're able to provide enough information, there'll be tool that can build everything like with the latest technology, with the latest integration. So most importantly is having the structure and having this documentation for the business, for the processes, and for the technical execution. So yeah, so his goal as well is like you talk to and our goal was next step, let's say in Q2 is we gather enough information about the business and the tools they use and the struggles and opportunities. Now we're building our own few workflows, but the idea is that we're gonna scrape and index all of the workflows and help to map with the best fit workflows for that specific company, as we probably know more than the person can explain. Yeah, so this is where we go, where we think of what I think about on daily basis and where we headed. So I like big context. I can apply. Thank you.
You have 5 minutes for questions.
I can ask questions.
How do you deal with access permissions? I assume that the owner should see more than junior sees within.
We're working with SMEs. We have one user for now.
So just one user.
Yes, we are not building like the Gints showed 4 years and monetize. We have to monetize today. So it's granular. Like and SMEs usually there's still one decision maker, the main one. We're targeting founders and consultants. So, but we're using Clerk, so you can kind of enable that one quite easy. The more users, but then probably we will implement this different projects. Let's say each the structuring is like different project. Different product or different country, project based. I'm not sure about the data point level, but again, we had some more configurations as which we thought would be cool, but it was too complicated, so we took them off. So now what we build, instead of something super configurable, something super dummy proof. Give me everything you have, we will do everything else. You know.
So basically one drive for one person. And everything that's built upon it.
You can have, as I said, few projects. Meaning, when you give your information, one project perfectly would be prioritizing one product. We can cover many products, but then the AI again will be confused, a bit more confused. What do you talk about? Which customer do you talk about? And which benefits you would like to highlight? So, but yeah, one person can create. You know, if you have 3 products, you create 3 projects. But it's still
Okay,
one
so
user.
it's one versus many relationship. One
Yes.
person, multiple ranks.
Yes, for now, yeah. But it's not a rank, as I said. For now,
It's a database, whatever.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. My question was, you pretty stressed that you are facing the problem with the context size. Have you explored like retraining, let's say DeepSeek, to a narrow, more specialized model to kind of reduce the amount of context you need to fit into the LLM?
Actually, that's actually something we solve. So instead of you as a user providing a lot of documents and websites, and that stacks up the context, and you can ask just one question, maybe, right? We take that one and consolidate. So I don't see that as a challenge. Okay, there was one customer consultant who's using our consolidated version, and he has like a lot of other analytical things to feed additionally. So he's utilizing the opportunity of having like small consolidated explanation of the business, because the rest he's utilizing the rest of the context window. But you can use, I don't know, I haven't tried Gemini, this 1-2 million. I do not believe that one. I like Claude that when they launch, they make sure that the model is capable of actually utilizing the context window. Otherwise, you can have 3 million, 4 million, but it's not utilizing it correctly.
Hallucinates nicely.
Yeah, nicely hallucinating. Yes. Yeah.
So my question would be, who's actually consuming the content which is created and for what purpose?
Which content? Sorry.
I mean, you are having context and then something created, like there who's having some documents created, like who's consuming this content which is this generated document or something.
Who is the user, or which system is utilizing? I didn't understand.
Why are the user? Not the system, because systems.
Yeah, the founders and marketers mostly. I thought of we because I'm using it as well from a lot of from operational stuff to strategic stuff. Anthropic launched new feature. I'm talking about Is it a threat? Is it an opportunity? What's changed? So it knows everything about our company and our goals. But we see that people are not too good about strategizing, like using as a strategic sparring partner. So I kind of postponed that one division. So now we focus on people want content. So we just help them to, we now talk to those consultants. They can do manually. As I said, that I don't believe complete automation and even for the copy creation. So we can get you to the 95%, but quite very good. So when your content has to be, very well crafted. It's not just quantity. I can post 200 a day and something. Alibaba or Temu, they don't care about the quality. It's just quantity. But it's the person who's creating the content. Either it's slides, either it's something. So it's quite universal. That's the beauty. You can one day polish the pitch deck. One day I'm using it for talking the investor updates, creating investor updates. Okay, we have we are our internal one, product coach, which knows the product and then some principles how we prioritize the next feature. And we implemented synthetic user in it as well. So I can ask him, what do you think about this feature and stuff like that. So you can kind of tailor it to different use cases. But we see that the generic one, as I thought people are going to use, they're not good at that one. So we are building more tailored, like you create a blog, you create that one or you create that one. So it's a bit more tailored, but you can iterate with it. Yeah.
Do we have one last question? Last chance? Okay.
Sorry,
seriously.
I really had a chance to try it out before, even though I played. But so we have this. You're exporting this context offline. How do you track how users actually use this context later? How do you collect this kind of data? How do you understand the features more context?
Yeah, that's a challenging one. As we tested only the technical, let's say, feasibility for now. The next one is some tools built in, like prompt crafting and these custom GPT co-pilot that could help the consultant or someone build those. And additionally, this API for Zapier. So that's the only one. Otherwise, we don't want to be the utilizers, let's say. We want to be the context manager, management hub. So whenever we will have the refinement feature in April, then people are going to use it like more on daily basis. Now it's like a one-time thing, but it's enough for the validation for us. We ask them. That's the only way.
Okay. Which one was the best question? Well, the one you liked. You can give two.
I'll throw the easiest one to throw.
Okay. All right. One there. Then thank you for coming. Great. I don't know about you. It's a little bit kind of hot in here. Moving forward with the last few things. That was Guntis. And the last few things are, let's see how it works.